Okay, here we are. We're back at it. Um, Again, we are drawing from the Morpho series. Sorry. Simplified forms. We're starting back on page 52, so let's jump right in and get it cracking. Oh wait, I need to put on some music for moi, personally. I'm also supposed to not be using my phone today, and I'm also not supposed to have my phone in my studio. But, it's okay. Yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Okay. Pretty sure I don't need my phone for anything. Alright, so let's jump right in. I think the light's pretty good. Lighting feels okay. Okay, so we're just over here on page 52. Definitely gonna have to do some editing, fortunately. Alright, so let's get into it. Really nice line of action here. Cut right through. Can make this a little bit wider. I definitely want to show people too, just progress that's being made while using this book to study. But I don't want to take up too much time doing that kind of thing. So if you want to see that, I have another video series going right now called Nosebleed Progress Report, where it's basically just follows the progress that I'm making on my comic. Alright, but yeah, I think on that show I'll kind of more so talk about, progress being made from using this book. Alright, let's go ahead and darken some of this up. This is more of the scapula. Scapula studies from previous chapter, or the previous pages. And I think depending on the length of this, I think we might try to make this one, because I do like wrapping up these videos, kind of like one and doneers. If I could draw really, really fast, we do a whole chapter basically. Whole chapter in a video, but I feel like you guys wouldn't really get much out of that. Like, I know that these videos are pretty long. They're not super duper long, but they're definitely like an hour. But it just kind of shows you that this stuff takes time, like learning these things takes time. So take the time to learn it. Don't, you'll look on YouTube sometimes and you'll see videos where people are just like speeding up the process, and I'm just like, that's good for entertainment purposes, but like that's just not how life works, especially as an artist. Like, you're not gonna watch a video and then see some guy just banging stuff out, and you're like, yeah, I can do that now. It's like, no, that guy's been doing that a really long time. And also, they sped it up. So, don't get discouraged. Follow along, pause. Hey, that's the reason that pause button exists. You know, if you're like, man, I'm overwhelmed. Ain't no shame in being overwhelmed. Because there's a lot of information here. Here we do this guy. This pelvis box is just completely flat. You got that space right here. So pumped, man. I haven't felt this good about studying in a really long time. Just knowing that people are here in spirit, it's just like, oh yes. And also noticing that we're just like halfway through the book already. I'm like, yay! These Morpho books, man, they're so freaking good. And let's really get this, ooh, beautiful ass shape right there. That was like perfect. So if you notice here on the spine, there's some shading here. That's just to show you. You remember back in the previous episode, we kind of had split this spinal area up, right? It's basically, if we were to concave it out or do some contours, it's basically like this. So this shading kind of helps just kind of sell that a little bit more. All right. And then got this last drawing here. Pretty big one. Get that construction in. See? Beautiful work, right? Or easy. Sorry, but that just felt really beautiful. Just like, just nailing the construction first. Then we can come back, kind of build that stuff out. Next Morpho book is already, I already know exactly which one we're going to be doing, which is going to be the Folds book. I've had that book for about a year, and I worked through it for about a week, and I really loved it. It really helped, but I really want to go back and like just kind of lock that information in. But I think even before we jump directly into that book, I think we'll do like a pretty big session maybe of kind of going through and breaking down some figure drawings. But I think instead of just doing, you know, kind of boring figure drawing, I think we're gonna just stick with breaking down some like cartoon poses or poses from cartoons or just some fun stuff. You know, we're not gonna be. I think I've done enough. You know, drawing women reaching for things that aren't their poses. I think we've all drawn enough guys sitting and thinking poses. It's like, all right, let's maybe break down some Jim Lee. let's have some fun. You know, it sucks. Cool. All right, we got some words. Let's get into these words. All right, so figure 1, this represents the spinal column. Figure 2, the musculature on top of this. And then figure 3 is the fat and the lumbar region. So your lumbar is like your lower back. Right. Let's get all these guys in. I'm going to start with the figures 1, 2, and 3 real quick. Just to kind of, before we jump into those bigger guys. Okay, so this is just, I'm just going to do this 3 times real quick. Just get these all in. Okay, and then one more. If this is kind of tedious for you, you can just draw one and then just draw all this stuff on top of it. But for me, I just really want to get the mileage in, you know? Just really nail that. Just get that mileage. So it's just, I just don't forget this crap again. I'm gonna definitely forget it again, but at least this time I'll know. We really went in there. We dug deep in the trenches. I've been watching a lot of Conor McGregor. Gearing up for this fight. This fight came out of nowhere. Like, I thought this fight was gonna be like into summer. So I was kind of like, all right, well, like, you know, Conor should hopefully have time to prepare. I listen, I don't want to put it out there. I really can't see Conor McGregor winning. But stranger things have happened this year in the fight world. Justin Gaethje, I for sure, I was like, well, this is like Justin Gaethje's retirement fight. Fighting Ilia Topuria. Like, they're literally feeding Gaethje to the wolves. Like, I was like, there's no, I'm so sorry. Like, I like Justin Gaethje. I think he's sick. Great fighter, but it just, listen, man, it was like some Rocky shit, you know? It was just like, this guy's killed people. Like, you know, Ilia Topuria is literally, he's been sleeping guys that are just killers. Slept Oliveira. Slept Holloway. Like, gave Holloway his first knockout. Like, I didn't realize that Holloway's never been knocked out before. You know, so Holloway is coming off of his first knockout, but Holloway has been supremely active, and active against, you know, he's not been active against bums. Like he fought Oliveira, he fought Justin Gaethje, fought Dustin Poirier. Like he's fought guys that are like top tier dudes. Ilia Topuria, like he went and survived for the most part with that Ilia fight. Like, you know, it's just Ilia just for whatever reason, man, just woof, that power. So I think that's the only thing that Max has to worry about is just staying away from McGregor's power for like the first probably 2 rounds. I mean, let's be honest, man. If this thing goes past the, honestly, if it goes past the first round, I can't imagine McGregor. He's been out of the game for 5 years. This is like some freak shit, though. Like, you know what I mean? This is where I'm kind of like, I don't really want to make a prediction because there's freaky. This is like the same thing like when. But it seems like this time, like, you know, I mean, I could give examples, but it just seems like this time it's like the odds are just too far in someone else's favor to win. It's not, like, you know, I mean, like the thing that I'm thinking of a lot is Adesanya versus Strickland, where everybody was like, dude, like, there's no freaking way that Strickland is going to beat Adesanya. And he beat Adesanya. You know? Like, that was one of the biggest upsets in history. But that was different. That was both guys, like, you know, both guys are definitely active. You know, one guy, it's not like Sean Strickland wasn't active, you know, and also isn't like a gillionaire. Like I think this is just like McGregor. It's cool to see that he still can sell a show, and it's cool to see that he's not running, because he could have taken the Chandler fight at this point. He could have just been like, yeah, get Chandler in there. Like, let me beat up this guy who's kind of in the same, you know, predicament as me. Like, not really that active. You know, Chandler's entertaining, but, you know, the wins are the thing that count, you know? And he chose Max Holloway, who's fresh, man. I mean, the guy's fresh. The guy has been competing, you know? Like, he ain't some bum, you know? So it's very admirable that's the thing I like about Adesanya, and it's the thing I like about McGregor, is that they don't run. They ain't chickens, you know? So win or lose, it's like McGregor can't really lose. Like, if he loses this fight, he's still gonna be the Mac, you know what I mean? People love him, dude. He's a great shit talker. Amazing shit talker. Good showman. Like, knows how to put on a freaking show. Knows how to sell a fight. Knows how to build excitement. But man, it's a fight that I don't want to see, you know what I mean? Because I like both of them so much. I really like Max Holloway, and I just can't see it. I can't see Holloway getting knocked out because of how much of a striker he is. And, you know, the Oliveira fight, he lost because Oliveira wasn't striking with him. Oliveira grappled him to the ground and, you know, just smothered him. Just wrestled the shit out of him. I think that fight would have been way different if, you know, Oliveira had striked. And nothing against Oliveira striking. Like, he's a great striker. But, you know, Max is just that dude, man. And this is a 5-round fight. Like, McGregor literally has to, like, he has to kind of do the impossible. He literally has to go out there and basically knock Max Holloway out within the first 2 rounds. Because as we all know, McGregor has, like, for some odd reason, like, the worst cardio of all time. And I can't imagine that cardio's gotten any better. I don't think he's been sober these 5 years. I know he found Jesus. I know he found God. But, you know, God ain't giving you back your cardio. Like 5-round cardio. You know? Like 5-round extreme amount of pressure. You know, you haven't felt that type of pressure in 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, you're out, you know, the audience is going to be packed. Screaming fans. Like, Max Holloway's been used to that. Max Holloway's been doing 5-rounders for the entire time that McGregor's been out. Max Holloway is used to the ritual, used to the lights, the cameras. McGregor hasn't been there, man. Do we have any room for this last guy? Let's see. I think we can fit this in. So it's going to be exciting. Faux show. I don't even know. It's one of those fights where it's so exciting. I have no idea who else is on the card. I think Patty, the baddie, Pimbolt. I think he's on the card. He's an always exciting fighter as well. You know, he's an exciting guy. So love to see him in there. Excited to see what he does. I didn't catch his last fight, so I don't know what he did in the last one that he did. But was it Gaethje? It might have been Gaethje was his last fight. I'm not sure. I don't have Paramount Plus, so I usually end up watching fights kind of after the fact. But we'll see, man. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you really can't count these fighters out. That's the thing that I think we're learning this year is just like you can't count these fighters out. You know, everybody, and I can't imagine how much money was lost on everybody betting. Literally, they're probably like their life savings on Ilia Topuria beating the living shit out of Justin Gaethje. I can't imagine how many people are probably mad at Justin. I think there's probably so many people that are mad at Justin Gaethje and even more mad at Ilia Topuria. Like, I'm sure some dude lost, like, I can't imagine the amount of money people lost on that fight. Okay. Page 54. Page 54 is kind of just all focused on the back, which is also really great because I just never, for some odd reason, draw the back of characters. Very rarely. Sorry, my book's all screwed. Let's get some back practice in. The back is one of those things where it's like I can fudge my way through it. For show. For surely can just like kind of really kind of BS my way through drawing a character from behind. But if I had to do something like this is pretty involved. If it helps, these are your traps right here. These are your scaps. So give yourself like a little reminder, little notes. Let's draw this head in. I should chill out. My hand is already like kind of hurting. I did a really long drawing session yesterday. I gotta really be careful about that. But I've gotten 2 pages done this week, so that's a nice. Not terrible. If anyone too is watching this, please let me know in the comments section if the lighting is okay. And if there's things that I can do to make the lighting better. I'm kind of really relying on natural light, and I have like a light above, but the it's such a nice sunny day today that I did not turn on my above light. I do kind of wish he kind of talked more about the backside of what's going on here, because there's a lot of stuff happening here. But I think it's also, you know, we've got that 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember we did that. Alright, let's not skip this. This head up here is pretty complicated from behind, so I had the thought of, I don't have to draw that. If that's happening to you while you're studying, just make yourself do it. Even if it comes out shitty, just make yourself do it. Alright. Not bad. Let's get this guy. So that repetition is starting to set in. Got the scaps. And we've got another beautiful S curve. And I guess you can just kind of draw where the rib cage kind of starts to kind of connect to the obliques and the lumbar area down here. I'm just gonna write lumbar. And now we get to the butt, the buttocks. Which again is pretty tough, right? Like there's like this. There's like this thing, right? Like I don't know what the heck that is, but then on this side it like goes up. So you're really kind of like breaking. Like look what's going on here. Like I don't even know how to like quantify this into words, but I guess. Oh man, this is so. I guess that this. So what it probably breaks down to is something that looks kind of like this, and this isn't in the book, but I'm guessing this is kind of how you can very quickly kind of simplify the butt. Sorry, I think that's inappropriate. It's the butt. Okay, so, and this goes really high, and then this part over here, I guess, is like cut off. It kind of lays on top of that. It's very interesting. I hope there's a little bit more of a breakdown on that. But yeah, that's a complicated shape right there. For sure. And then this is interesting too, where you see this kind of slope. And I guess it's just like kind of opposites. Like this is kind of straight. This is going to be kind of curvy. Goes into that classic kind of cartooning rule. And then here's a really good, very good simplified. I kind of drew this gigantic, but it's fine. Very easy kind of way to kind of just simplify that trapezius, or I'm sorry, your scapula, the deltoid muscle. And then we've got a really nice breakdown here. So we're gonna have to unfortunately draw that because there's a lot of good stuff happening in here. And I actually might have to do it on another paper, which would suck, because whatever. I think we can fit it mostly in here. Okay, so we got some cool breakdowns going on here. Try to keep in mind that this line for like your scapulas, sometimes it can run just like that, you know, like right across the top. It's gonna run right across the bottom. And then we've got some really cool stuff happening down here. Right? This is another thing I want to kind of try to remember is that this egg shape, you can kind of almost turn it into this. It doesn't have to be like super duper round. We've got the back side of the trapezius. Some call it a diamond. And then we've got separation here. So not so bad, drawing-wise. And then we've got the bottom of that spine. Up here, let's just get in, because this is a good thing to note. There we go. Not terrible, but still, you're out 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got one more drawing over here. Let's go ahead and get it in, and then we've got what? Oh yeah, we've got 3 pages left, so we should be able to knock this whole torso section out in one video, which would be great. I'm doing this figure 1. Okay, actually, there's actually some reading here, so sorry about that. So figures 1, 2, 3, and 4. The latimus dorsi muscle is shown in these pictures, but it remains secondary to the volume that structures the rib cage. So your lats. So your lats are on your side. Interesting. So I'm guessing it's like this area here that we're talking about. Alright, so we got a lot. Got a lot to cover with the lats. Let's get it in. Okay. See? Bad habit. I just started drawing, right? Is this correct? Or should this be like this? Because this is technically always tilted. I think this square would be like this. Even though you can't see that square in there, still make sure you're thinking about that pelvis. Pelvis' shape. Alright, so we're going out, then in, then out. This goes up. So this kind of goes down here. Then we have this bump out that, again, I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm gonna have to like look that up, unfortunately. Or that's gonna just cause future examination. Let's say that. Whew, I am hungry again. This is crazy. I ate breakfast like an hour ago. I've been working out a lot more, and I've just been like burning calories. So I'm starving it. Okay, let's not draw. We gotta connect all this crap. So we've got scapulas. All right. Then this scapula and this arm is going down. So this is up, down. Whew. I'm zooming right now. I am definitely zooming, but my arm and hand are like, yo, chill, dog. Yeah, I'm gonna let up on the gas here. So this should be wider. So let's just go ahead and do that. I know we're gonna get some more drawings done, but again too, man, it's just, this needs to be way wider. It's way too skinny, so. So this feels fine. But right here does not. So we've got small bump, small bump. I do like that this deltoid really just kind of wraps around to like the top of that scapula. Okay, that looks better. But yeah, crazy to think that this shape really wraps around like the whole back. All right. Let's get into page 55 here. Got some more scapulas. I think that's a good, sorry. I was just gonna say something that I think I've said enough, but it's just so good that it really makes you just repeat. It can get a little daunting, so if you're feeling daunted, definitely take a break. Because this is daunting. This is a lot of kind of drawing the same thing over and over and over again, right? So we got some rough shapes in here that we can work with. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start here. Get this trapezius in here. Then I don't know what, I guess this is your I think so. This whole thing that is wrapping around here, I think it's cool, and I think it's okay that we can just say all that is lat. Right? Okay. And this looks like some mech shit right here. This looks like something you'd see like on the back of a Gundam. It's a Gundam. I can't tell you the level of excitement I used to get by watching that show. But that show was like way too heady for like a... I really liked Gundam as a kid, but there would be times where I'd be like, I don't know what is going on in this show. And then I rewatched it as an adult, and I still was like, alright, I'm still hella confused right now. I'm really surprised they don't do like remasters of shows. Okay, wait, hold up. Let me finish this. Where like they just try to translate, like update the translation on some of these classic shows, right? But I guess that's a thing that involves money, and nobody has money anymore apparently. But there's just so much stuff that was just like, we're translating this from a Japanese TV show. We don't know what the hell any of this means, because it's Japanese, and like Japanese media just has way different meanings, you know? Like Hideaki Anno is like, I don't make stuff for an international audience. I make stuff for Japanese people. So if you don't understand it, it's probably because you're not Japanese. Which I was like, thank God he said that, because there's so much stuff of his that I'm like, I don't know what the hell this means. It looks really cool, but as far as like, what does it mean? I'm like, dude, I don't know. And some of it's not like that heady. Like, one of my favorite things from Anno is Shin Kamen Rider, which was so cool and so good that it ruined the rest of Kamen Rider for me. Like, I've never really finished in an entire Kamen Rider season, because just the idea of sitting on my couch for something that's 50 plus episodes is just like, I have things I know I need to be doing. Like, to me, it just seems like a crazy waste of time. Maybe I'll really get into Kamen Rider when I'm like closer to like retirement age, and I'm like, well, I've done a lot in life. I can afford to sit here and watch an episode of Kamen Rider every single 2 episodes a day until I finish this. I'm gonna draw this leg over here just to get it in. Even though we're not focusing on the leg, let's still just do it. I think that comes next. Cool. Alright, let's just get these last 2 in here on this page, because why not? Another thing I kind of try to do too is, if I'm getting a little fatigued here, which I kind of am, I'll just really focus on the part that's the darkest, just because I'm like, okay, that information clearly is darkened for a reason, so like, let me just focus on that. I guess this is just more of the lat and kind of how it splits things up. Okay. And then I'm just gonna draw this part over here. Not gonna draw this whole figure, because I really want, we have 2 pages left after this, so I really think we can fit those in. So let's just gotta try to remember too that this is, we're looking at this as like kind of like a 3/4 view. So that means it's going to be like 1, 2, 3 sides to that. And try my best to get those sides in there. Alright. So it almost looks like I'm gonna kind of draw through shit. I'm so sorry. I totally not listening to my own rules. I think I'm getting tired. I'm just drawing here. There we go. Okay, now we know what we're doing. Either I'm getting tired or my yerba that I had earlier is finally kicking in. I was like, dang, dude, I am like speed drawing right now. Yerba sometimes is like, woo. Then there's sometimes you get a yerba and you're like, I don't feel anything. You're like, I think that means I need to take a break from caffeine. Alright guys, last 2 pages and then we're gonna wrap up the torso section. This is technically the shortcuts. So it says, it can be easier to show the rib cage and the pelvis as boxes, building on the sternum and the pubis which coincide with the axis of symmetry. So, what does that mean in like layman's terms? I'm not really sure. That's kind of hard to understand. But I think it's easier for me to just understand it by drawing it. So I think what they're saying is, it can be easier to show the rib cage and the pelvis as boxes, right? So first one over here. Okay. So you could just do it as boxes, I guess, like this. I'm just going to draw all the construction that I'm seeing here. But he really only did the construction as the box thing for just this, mostly this pelvis. Right? Like the pelvis, it seems like the pelvis can be drawn as a box. But everything else kind of stays as like these egg shapes. So I don't know. It's fine. I think this was also translated from I'm pretty sure these Morpho books are like French. Okay. Let's get this complicated one going. So we got some cool construction here happening. What do we notice? We notice, well, not we, I'm just going to talk. I noticed that there's a lot of triangles, a lot of circles, a lot of cylinders. right? Yep. Let's get this complicated mess going. So this is foreshortened city right here, which is always fun to try to do and fail at miserably, because it's freaking hard. I kind of like thinking of this ribcage shape as like an apricot. Almost more than I like thinking of it as like an egg. Like, to me, this feels much more apricotish. Okay. Got a circle here. Oh, that's interesting. Circle. Make that circle a little bit bigger. Okay. That was very complicated. When you guys get there, good luck. It wasn't that bad, but it was kind of hard to see what the hell was going on there. Cool, so... Whew. The old phalanges. Alright. Wasn't too tough. Let's do this last page, because then we'll be done, and we'll start upper limb next week. So let's get all these shortcuts in here. start up here. See if we can fit this whole thing into about this. This feels like more foreshortening practice than it does anything else. But there's still some construction going on here. Mostly like how you can kind of draw these forms kind of wrapping into each other, it seems like. Right? Arms are another thing that I really struggle with. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm a very confident artist, but I got my struggles, man. There's parts of the body that I'm just like, I know how to draw this, and then when it's time to actually draw it, my brain freezes. And anytime it gets to that brachialis, or whatever the hell it's called, my brain totally freezes up. And it's very annoying, because I'm just like, dude, I've seen this 1,000 times. I've probably drawn this muscle thing a bunch of times. Like, why can't I freaking remember it? Let's see. Let's do this guy. Okay. Woo! Alright, I'm running out of steam, folks. We'll do this last guy here. And then that's gonna be the show. Excuse me. There are just like days where like I'm like weirdly sick. And I think today is one of them. I just feel très exhausted. Très fatigué. Right? Très fatigué. Woo! Alright. So I guess the cool thing that to just kind of remember is just like stuff is attached to this rib cage shape that you do. I always used to think that you had to draw all the stuff inside of this rib cage, like the pecs and everything, but really they're like on top of it. So that's gonna be something I'm gonna try to remember here. you know, like everything is everything is on top of these shapes that you're constructing. It's not. I used to think that you had to draw it inside of the construction, but you're really like drawing these muscles and things like on top of that. So I hope that makes sense. It's making sense to me. And if it doesn't make sense for you, like try to put it in your own words. That sounded very catty, but like no, there's a gesture drawing class I took there where she said, name the pose. Just name whatever you can name the pose, because that's what you'll focus on more than like trying to draw the person doing the pose. All right, y'all. We are in upper limb section for next week, so I will see y'all then. Peace.